We came so far from dreams. The path was hard for me. They thought we fall, you see. Well, look at us now, look at us now. We make it hot when we on the scene. Yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team. Yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around. You know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound when I ask you who better than we. Tell me who better than we. We soaring to places you never could reach. When we walk in that spot, don't hear none of you speak. Shh, do you want peace or the peace? A king about to put you to sleep. Listen, my team is elite. You not even qualified to compete. He starving, he barely can eat. I guess that's why he always itching for beef. So I put him on ice and I told him to chill. Close your mouth if you can't pay for the meal. Making statements that you know you don't mean. Nice guy trying to act like he mean. Keep it a buck, keep it a bean. Attitudes will put you dudes in the beam. Isekai, he don't live in reality. Shake back off, come on fatality. Yeah, how you gon' hate when you mirror us? He think he a star, he ain't serious. X him out, we not on the same frequency. If you broke, you ain't hearing us. Work the screw, anime, that's how I feel, period. We winning, that's making them furious. We make it high when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound when I ask you who better than we.
Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, back for you with another new part of What If Izuku Was Pyra and Mythra's driver. This is part 29, and damn, I've really come far with this What If series, actually, to be honest. Out of all of my old content, when I first started as a What If content creator, this is still one of my, well, most viewed series on the channel after all these years, so again, I really do appreciate it, guys. It really means a lot to me for those who continue to stick with my channel for all this time. At any rate, let's go through that of a pretty necessary recap. In the last part, we went over on Izuku now gaining the power of the conduit and basically unlocking Pyra and Mythra's true form, Pneuma. As now they have to make sure to protect Bakugo from the League of Villains so they don't kidnap him after all. With that of the Pussycats fighting against Spinner and Magne, with then Ida soon being involved once he got the go-ahead from Aizawa, given that Izuku was the one who relayed the message from their homeroom teacher. Jin saving as many people as he can throughout that of the forest who were knocked out, mainly those from Class 1B, and even helping out Shinso, Tokage, and also Tetsu take down Mustard. And a shocking surprise is that Shinso lands on a blade core crystal, wondering on what blade he will gain at the end of all of this. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? Arriving back into that of the woods, trying to find out about Bakugo, using the power of the conduit, they're able to move through the forest pretty quickly, as they were almost close to that of Bakugo's location. That's when soon something was about to land and hit that of Izuku and Pneuma. However, Izuku dodged out of the way before then seeing that of the individual, as that individual being Tokoyami, consumed by dark shadow. With then Izuku completely shocked by this alongside that of Pneuma, with then him saying, "No way, Tokoyami?" With then dark shadow lunges back. Before then, Izuku sends that of a blast of ether towards that of Tokoyami. Within, Dark Shadow feeling the winds and the bright light, basically shrinking him down from that of his ginormous size. Within, Izuku remembers, oh yeah, I remember. Tokoyami's quirk is weakened by that of light. The more bright the light is, the weaker Dark Shadow becomes, and the easier it is for that of Tokoyami to take control. Within, hearing somebody ruffling through that of the bushes saying, "Figures you would come, Midoriya, especially given that what we heard from Mandalay." Within, seeing that of Shoji, looked beaten and bruised and injured. Within, Izuku saying, "Shoji, are you okay?" Within, Pneuma saying, "You're hurt. Let us," within saying, "Don't worry about me. Worry about that of Tokoyami. He's more important right now." But then, as Tokoyami now getting a better control over Dark Shadow, however, he's still trying to take control over that of his quirk user. Within Tokoyami saying, "Don't worry about me. You two need to get out of here now. We heard what Mandalay said, that the League of Villains are after Bakugo. If you're here, you need to go after him. You're the only one that can protect him after all." As Tokoyami trying his best to basically take control over Dark Shadow, within screaming, "Calm yourself, Dark Shadow!" But Izuku couldn't help but basically grit his teeth and clenching that of his sword. Izuku saying, "I'm not just going to abandon one of my classmates, one of my friends that are in need." Within, Pneuma saying, "Figures as much. That's too much like you, Izuku." Within, Shoji saying, "Midoriya, what are you?" Before then, with bat of both hands, he couldn't help but say, "Detroit Smash!" As he brings down the sword, within, a burst of green lights basically consumes the entirety of the area. However, instead of it hitting that of Dark Shadow, instead, Izuku creates that of a massive crater that basically stands in between both Izuku, Pneuma, and Tokoyami. With Tokoyami going back to his knees, now seeing that of a pretty small and somewhat terrified Dark Shadow. You can even see that of the bird-like Shadow basically having tears in his eyes, terrified of that of the light. With Tokoyami trying to catch his breath, within, soon looking up, seeing that of his two classmates. Within saying, "Midoriya, I have to thank you." Within, going around that of the massive crater, as the three going over to Tokoyami. "Sorry about that, especially to you, Dark Shadow. I know it wasn't pretty uncomfortable." Within, Dark Shadow still not growing, as he couldn't help but say, "Way too scary." With Choji saying, "You tried your best to keep yourself in check, especially when we were attacked. For that, I thank you, my friend, but are you going to be okay?" Within, Tokoyami looking down saying, "All my life I've tried so hard to suppress the darkness within me. And after all of this, what have I been doing? Did all my training and hard work mean nothing?" Within, as Shoji wanting to comfort that of his friend, within Pneuma saying, "Tokoyami, your hard work and training, it really did mean something. Look how much you were able to control that of Dark Shadow. You were able to keep it in basically one spot for this whole time, allowing that of Shoji to keep an eye on you and for us to arrive. If anything, you've done a great job of controlling Dark Shadow. All that training and hard work that you've done truly did mean something. Don't let one setback hold you back, okay?" Within, looking at that of Pneuma, but soon, Tokoyami couldn't help but narrow his eyes before thence, having that of a calm and neutral look, saying, "Thank you, Miss, Pyra, or is it Mythra?" Within, Izuku saying, "It's a long story, Tokoyami. I'll explain to everybody when this is all over." Within, Shoji noticing that of Izuku's appearance, saying, "More factly, aren't you going to be okay? All those bruises and blood basically coming down your arms and body." Within, saying, "I'll be fine. Just give me some time. Now, what's important is what we need to do to find Kachan. You two should head back to the camp." Within, Shoji saying, "Are you sure you don't want us to tag along?" Within, saying, "As much as I appreciate it, guys, and I really do, but Tokoyami needs to have Dark Shadow recharge himself. He's not in really good combat condition until, Within, looking at that of the still shrunken Dark Shadow, saying, "Midoriya is right. Dark Shadow is not at his best right now. But given that it's still night, it wouldn't take too long for him to be so. But even so, you're right, Midoriya. We should head back to the camp, Shoji." Saying, "Right. Good luck, Midoriya." Within, Izuku came up with a smile, saying, "Thanks." Before then, blitzing off alongside that of Pneuma as well. Within, soon, Tokoyami couldn't help but think, Midoriya has truly gotten stronger. I can tell. by the look of his sentient quirk, the two of them are truly something to rival with. But then, hearing that, Shoji saying, it makes you want to think. The guy has potential to become the greatest hero, even possibly greater than All Might. Just by thinking about it, it's kind of scary. But then leaving the two Class 1A boys in that of pondering. Within, seeing that of more and more blades coming out towards that of Shoto and Bakugo, and the unconscious Tsuburaba as well, as Moonfish continues to send barrages of bladed teeth towards the two. Within, Bakugo getting annoyed, saying, "Damn it! I am done just sitting around and do anything! It's time to blast this bastard away!" Within, Shoto can up and say, "Are you really that dense? If you use your explosions, you're going to basically cause more of a fire." But then, Bakugo saying, "Then just freeze over the damn fire, idiot!" Knowing you're going to make a powerful explosion, which is basically going to obscure my vision. Think about your surroundings, Bakugo. With Bakugo basically still gritting his teeth, within more and more bladed teeth from Moonfish continue to break through that of the ice. However, without that of a single warning, small little bladed-like drones were basically sent towards that of Moonfish, breaking away his teeth over and over, even breaking away the teeth that made him stand up high above them. Within, keep making that of both Shoto and also Bakugo completely and utterly shocked. Before then, not stopping there, but then saying, "Let's cancel that. St. Louis Smash!" Within, sending that of a piercing stab towards that of Moonfish. As doing so sends that of a blast of ether into Moonfish, causing him to basically gasp in that of pain. However, at the same time, you can also feel his connection towards his quirk basically weakening before fully passing out. Within, Moonfish basically bounces off the ground for a bit before completely landing on the ground, unconscious. Within, Izuku lands back on his feet. Within, soon noticing Pneuma basically floating down next to that of Izuku. As then soon that of the small bladed-like drones go back into that of her satellite devices around her. Within, Izuku saying, "Wow, that is really useful, Pneuma." Within, she's saying, "I know, right? There's still so much that even I don't even know, being that of the Master Blade." Within, soon as Izuku was about to ask about that's when somebody spoke up saying, "Midoriya, is that you?" Within, seeing that of his his friend and basically rival, standing together with that of Tsuburaba still unconscious, saying, "Thank you God, we were able to make it in time. You two okay?" Within, saying, "I should be asking you that. Look at you." Within, saying, "Yeah, it's a long story. We gotta get back to that at the camp. I'm pretty sure you guys heard about, the villains here for that of Kachan." Within, Bakugo saying, "I'm aware, damn it, Deku. Don't need to tell me twice." Within, Pneuma saying, "If you're aware of this, why haven't you head back yet?" Within, Bakugo saying, "Are you kidding me? You expect me to run away from these damn villains? I'll beat every last one of them and send them packing." Within, Pneuma couldn't help but sigh, saying, "Figures you would say something like that. I would actually believe you if you actually had your blade with you." Within, hearing that, soon even Izuku completely caught off guard with Pneuma saying this, saying, "Wait, Pneuma, what do you mean, blade?" Then, soon, Pneuma realizing, "Oh right, I'm guessing you haven't told anybody. And I'm figuring this out myself too. Bakugo's a driver, Izuku." Within, hearing this, Bakugo completely utterly shocked that his one little secret that he wanted to keep from anybody is now in the open, and it's all because of Pneuma. Within, saying, "Damn it." Within, Shoto saying, "A driver? What are you talking about? I didn't know Bakugo had a license, Midoriya." Within, Izuku was about to say something before Pneuma saying, "I think it's about time after all this is over, we start explaining things." to everybody, especially on what's happening around that of Japan after all. Within hearing this, Izuku saying, "You're right. Guess it is time." The teachers were probably going to say something about it too, but even so. But then saying, "Look, Kachan, you don't have to be happy about this, but this isn't about, the villains may be here for you, but this is about everybody here. If you want to prove that you're the best, then it's best to come back to that of the camp. Then we can basically send all the villains to be gathered around just so they can get you. Then you could have your perfect opportunity to take them down, right?" Within hearing this, Bakugo would basically want to, disagree before then saying, "Fine, but you better stay out of my way, you damn Deku. Like I need you and your damn bitch to." Within soon pointing his blade at that of Bakugo as the tip of the massive green ether-like sword right at his neck, saying, "Call her that again, and you'll be wishing that the villains kidnapped you instead." Within hearing the threat, Bakugo wouldn't think that Izuku would even have the guts to say such a thing. However, he soon notices his eyes, even while his face is still bruised and battered. His eyes say otherwise. He's saying that he's dead serious if he ever says anything bad to Pneuma. And at that very moment, Bakugo could feel fear within him, growling, saying, "What the hell ever. Let's just get this shit over with." Within them basically walking forward as Izuku brings down his sword, before then noticing that of somebody on that of Shoto's back, saying, "Wait, isn't that Subaraba from Class 1B? Saying, "Yeah, we found him on the way, on basically walking through the path, passed out. So we had to carry him." But then Pneuma saying, "Don't worry, I think I can carry him myself." But then looking at that of Pneuma saying, "You sure?" Saying, "Yeah, I am. Come on, let's get going." Within, as they basically try to catch up with that of Bakugo, little did they know they were being followed, and a certain magician was about to make his move. Arriving back at that of the Pussycat's lodge, many of the knocked out Class 1B students are basically all together, all laying back on that of the wall. Within, soon Ida, with that of Abrona on his back, and carrying that of one more student from Class 1B, as this being the tall, massive, glue-headed student, Bondo. Within, putting that of the student on the wall, next to the wall to his other classmates, saying, "I'm surprised that I'm able to even lift somebody as tall and as big as Bondo. So this is what it's like to have that of ether coursing through your veins with a driver and blade link." Within, Abrona couldn't help but cackle in that of Ida's ear, saying, "Told you it's cool, and you always basically said you didn't want to do it as much." Within, saying, "I was okay with doing it when training with Midoriya and his blades, but still." Within, soon, Abrona basically coming off that of Ida's back, saying, "You're still worried. You're basically reminded of my old me, aren't you? No matter what." Within, Ida saying, "Wait, no, Abrona, it's okay. I don't mind. Honestly, I may not be able to remember my old self, but I can still feel the experiences, the way you tense at me. It's always familiar. It brings me both that of pride and shame as well. It proves on how much I need to improve to move past my old self and become something more. To be your blade, Tenya." Within, hearing the words from that of the winged-like blade, he couldn't help but say, "No, I'm just as much as to blame too. I have been a horrible driver, pushing you aside and thinking about my own well-being and my own hang-ups too. From now on, I need to change. No, I must change. For you, for Tensei, and for our bond too." Within, she couldn't help but hug that of Ida, almost to that of soul crushing actually, making him basically drop that of his swords and trying to gasp for air. Within, noticing somebody basically walking up to them as it being Hayes, saying, Oh, Ida, Abrona, was it? I'm surprised that your blade was even here. Within, soon noticing that of Hayes, as Ida saying, Miss Hayes, wait, where's Mr. Aizawa saying he's contacting that of the fire department. You all need to get in, and I see that you brought almost half of everybody from Class 1B alongside Jin. That's great. Within, soon saying, but there's still plenty more students out there. Before then, noticing that of the purple mist in the distance, basically fading away. Within soon, somebody saying, so the damn bastard Mustard got taken out. But then, looking in the other distance, seeing that of Dabi, with Hayes basically standing in front of Ida and Abrona as he sends that of a torrent of flames towards them. Within Hayes creating that of her shield, even though without that of, Aizawa being there, her shield is not that strong, but it's still holding up against that of Dabi, but just only a little. Before then, without warning, Dabi was soon kicked in the head and sent flying like a rag doll towards that onto the ground before being turned into mud. Within, Hayes couldn't help but be shocked, saying, wait, but how? Before then, noticing that Ida and Abrona were there actually. But Hayes completely shocked, saying, my word, to think that they had that, even though that they just ether linked and they were able to move that fast? It must be that of Ida's quirk mixed with that of mixed with the ether leak. It's made his speed and quirk even stronger. If that's capable, then within, Hayes began having that of several ideas. Before then, Aizawa coming out saying, Hayes, is everything within, noticing Ida and Abrona, and then also noticing Hayes saying, Ida, before then also noticing that of the other more and more Class 1B students saying, I'm guessing you brought in a few more alongside that of Jin, I'm guessing. Within saying, yes, sir, we were able to. Within noticing that of Abrona saying, yeah, you. Before then, Abrona just waving to that of Aizawa while laughing a little bit, and that of enjoyment and nervousness at the same time. On the way back to that of the camp, currently that of Izuku, Pneuma, Shoto, and Bakugo are still heading there, with Bakugo trying to speed away from that of the three, or rather the four, given Subaru is still passed out. But then, all four of them are still able to keep up with that of the Ashen Pomeranian. But then, Bakugo getting annoyed at this, seeing that they're still able to keep up with him. But then, Izuku could help but sigh, saying, what's his problem? With Pneuma saying, what's his problem? This isn't the time to be acting like this. But then, soon, Izuku saying, this is how Kachan is. He's way too prideful, but it's that pride that basically allows him to become as good as he is now, after all. But then, Shota saying, it's also that pride is why the villains are even after him. You saw what happened during that at the sports festival. But then, remembering that of what happened, and given that he was able to defeat that of Shoto, but passed out, which soon led to Ida basically fighting against him. And yet, before fighting against him, he had that of a pretty rough and brutal streak on everybody. It wouldn't be surprised that the League of Villains think that they can recruit him because of his violent tendencies. But then, Pneuma saying, not too surprising, he's always been like this, ever since the day that you awakened me, Izuku. The only thing he cares about is himself and how to achieve his own goals, even if it doesn't even matter if it hurts other people in the process. But then, Izuku saying, trust me, I'm aware, but Kachan, even while the villains may want him, no way in hell the villains are going to convince him. But then, Shota saying, why do you say that? But then, Izuku couldn't help but smile, saying, Kachan's more driven and devoted to becoming a hero more than anybody I know. Doesn't matter how much he acts like a villain or how much people thinks he's going to become a future villain. He's always going to try and achieve being the number one hero. That's all he's ever wanted, more than anything in this world. With hearing this from Izuku, Pneuma couldn't help but smirk, saying, figures you would actually know him better than even you know it, than he knows himself. Within, Shoto saying, I'm not entirely convinced, but if you believe in him, then within, soon, without warning, that's when somebody basically comes through that of the forest. Before then, they were about to touch that of Bakugo, as Bakugo's still basically in that of his own little world to realize anything, as he was about to be touched by that of a man wearing a yellow trench coat, a black top hat, and that of a weird black and white mask with a cane. However, without warning, that's when that same arm basically was cut off. Before then, the villain basically noticing his arm off, before then feeling the pain, the rush of pain of his severed arm. But then he couldn't help but basically screaming out of agony, landing on the ground, throttling in pain. But then, soon, Bakugo, on the other hand, still completely shocked and wondering what the hell just happened, and who the hell is this bastard, and why the hell has he lost an arm? With even Izuku, alongside that of Pneuma, not even shaken by this. However, Shoto is wondering what the hell just happened, and who the hell is he? Within, Izuku saying, Jin, was that truly necessary? Within, noticing on that of the side of Izuku, on his right, being his second blade, Jin. Within, sheathing that of his sword, saying, did you... Honestly, Bakugo was way too much in his own little world to realize that he was about to be taken by one of the villains. Not to mention, I was able to track him while he was tracking all of you. I'm guessing you didn't even notice him too, Izuku, saying, I did it, unfortunately. Within, even Pneuma saying, guys, stealth is way too much. Even I couldn't even track him. Before then, soon, the man known as Mr. Compressed couldn't help but basically winces in pain. Before then saying, it seems my little magic act has been detected from the very beginning. Truly a shame, after all. As he's still basically wincing in that of pain and also gritting his teeth through his mask. But then, soon, Bakugo noticing him saying, what the hell? Where the hell did you come from, you damn bastard? But then, soon realizing his arm was cut off and he was about to touch me. That means, but then, noticing that of Jin right beside that of Izuku, saying, that damn white-haired bastard. Once again, Deku ended up saving me? Again? Why? Why am I always being saved by him? Damn it! He was always weak. He was quirkless. Hell, he still even is quirkless. And yet, why? Within, looking back, all the way back at that of the battle trial, all the way back at that of the USJ, and even at that of the summer camp, and even find out that he was even involved with that of the hero killer. He even back then, when they fought against All Might, instead of letting him fight against him, that damn blade of his stopped him and basically lectured him. He couldn't accept it. He wouldn't. Why am I weaker than Deku now? It's not right, damn it. While Bakugo's basically in his own little crisis, that's when they're trying to tell him to basically make sure to stop the villain. However, that's when, on that of shaky legs, Compressed was about to basically jump off. However, Jin not allowing that, as he's about to basically cut off his legs. Before then, as soon as he jumps, he soon turns into a marble. Within, Jin completely shocked, saying, what did he... Before then, as he rolls away, that's when Compressed reverts back into his human form before jumping off once more. Within saying, it's a shame we cannot gain our quarry at this time. We knew these blades of yours were quite dangerous, but to think that they would be this dangerous, I must say, you UA students with blades are quite formidable. Until we meet again, my dear audience. As he soon bounces from tree to tree, away from that of Izuku and the others. Within, soon, Jin was about to chase after him, saying, Jin, don't. It's not worth it. Saying, are you serious? Within, Izuku giving him a serious look, saying, fine. At least he'll know not to basically cause any trouble with that reminder of his. With then, soon, Bakugo couldn't help but basically grit his teeth. As then, looking back at that of Izuku as he wanted to give him a piece of his mind. However, Jin basically soon points his blade at that of Bakugo, as then seeing in the same position as he was with that of Izuku. However, feeling completely different, saying, "You need to get a grip, Bakugo." But then Bakugo saying, this isn't the time for macho bullshit right now. You are their target. You are the reason that they are here for. It's time for you to grow the hell up and get your head out of your ass now. Everyone's lives are in danger because you had to be that of an irritating, arrogant, and basically aggressive bastard during a sports festival. Izuku may believe that you may become some great hero, but honestly, right now, you are nothing but a liability for us. So either get a grip or let the villains take you. Either way, I wouldn't lose a sleep over it. So either do either one. Your choice. Within hearing this and being told off by that of Jin, reminding him about being told off by that of Pyra during that of the final exam, as he wanted to basically lash out. However, doing so would just basically prove Jin right. There's one thing that Bakugo hates. He hates basically proving others right except himself. But then, soon, just walking off, with Jin following after him too, is then Izuku saying, I didn't think that Jin would basically call Kachan out on that. But soon, Todoroki saying, seriously, you have some way with words, Midoriya, saying, that's just, it's hard to explain. Come on, we should get going. With that, they soon walk off back to that of the camp. Currently with that of Ochako, Tsuyu, and currently with that of their own little villain, as the villain that they're facing against is Toga, of course. My, the two of you are quite cute after all, I have to say. Also quite adorable, if anything. I wonder how much adorable you would all look with you bleeding so much more. With then, as the two girls couldn't help but feel a little bit worried, as even though that they were given the permission to fight, Tsuyu, on the other hand, believes that they only had permission to use their quirks for self-defense, not for actually fighting the villains, even though that's not the case. She's just being too cautious for her own well-good. However, as she uses her tongue to basically send Ochako flying back to keep her distance away from them, however, that's when Toga soon strikes, cutting her tongue, pinning her to that of the tree using that of her extendo syringes, with Toga basically enjoying the fact that she caught that of Sue. At the same time, just like that in canon, Ochako basically counteracts that of Toga's stab, grab her arm, pin her down using that of gunhead martial arts. With now her pinned to the ground. However, at the same time, that's when Toga once again basically tries to sympathize with her, tries to think that she has a crush on somebody, as that crush being Izuku, and she also has a crush on that of Stain, as she wants to be Stain. She wants to become Stain. And she sees this as a twisted way of talking about that of their crushes. She was able to suck up that of Ochako's blood once again, before then the others arrive once more. Toga noticing this, seeing that both Sue and also Ochako were distracted, she sees the point of basically getting away. As soon as she basically comments to herself about not wanting to get killed, that's when she notices Izuku. But then she having that of a blushing cheek. But then Jin was about to strike her, strike her. Before then, Izuku saying, this is the time, Jin, focus on that of Ochako and Sue. But then saying, fine. As then he also saying, and put away that icicle. But then realizing, how the hell did you? Then saying, just noticed. Before then, Jin basically dispersing that of an icicle he was about to create to pierce that of Toga. As all of them were about to basically check on her, within them gathering all together to explain that they're heading back to the camp with Bakugo. the summer camp is about to come to a triumphant end, even with that of, well, Momos, with that of the help of a wasp, able to basically put a tracker on the Nomu that was chasing them, as Dabi, alongside that of Toga, Compress, and with even the help of Kurogiri, able to get that of both, well, Spinner and Magna once again, but unable to gain that of Bakugo, showing that the League of Villains basically failed to capture Bakugo, making it another loss for them. Arriving back at that of the camp, within, Izuku noticing that Magna alongside that of Spinner were basically gone, wondering what happened. Within, Mandalay basically explaining that the warp villain from that League of Villains basically got them out of there. Within, Izuku realizing, of course, why wouldn't he? Within, Pixie Bob heading to that of Izuku saying, what's more important that you should basically get yourself looked at. Look at you. You almost look almost half dead. Within, Izuku sighing, saying, I'm fine. We just need to focus on getting Kachan back. And that's exactly what before then, passing out as Pneuma catches Izuku saying, hey, Izuku! Before then, even herself basically reverts back to normal too, as she also begins to go back to that of Pyra, showing that the two were basically pushing themselves even further throughout this entire incident, with Jin catching both of them, realizing they were really pushing themselves throughout this entire time, and whatever hell that they awakened must have put a real toll on their bodies. Damn you two. You really do know on how to basically overwhelm yourselves. Before then, having that of a cheeky smirk on his face, saying, the three of you are perfect for one another, that's for damn sure. Carrying that of Izuku and Pyra back to that of the lodge, with Bakugo still wondering on what the hell is going on. Why do these things even exist? Why now of all times? As he also remembers that of Bridget, his own blade, thinking, I don't need them. I don't need her. I'm strong. I'm strong by myself. I don't need help from anybody but myself. The number one hero always wins, and I can do it by myself. As now, even with this incident, things are still changing for either the better or for worse. Who could say? And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Love to read them. Sorry that this basically went by pretty damn quick and I rushed through a few things. I really just wanted to get the summer camp arc over with, to be honest. But given that Izuku awakened the true power of being the master driver and the master blade, especially given the power of the conduit that basically allows whatever Izuku imagines to become a reality. Yeah, he was basically on easy mode this entire time. As his relationship with Bakugo, that's going to become even more rocky as time goes on, if you guys are going to keep on watching to see. As for the League, well, they take another L. However, don't expect them to continue taking L's. You just guys have to watch and wait and see anyway. So yeah, at any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification key to date my videos upload to the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, my gaming channel, my side channel, my other channel, my Patreon, and my Cash App. All linked in the description below. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later guys, and hope you all take care. Do your thing, my Shiro.
Hi everyone, this is White Fox. If you liked Leon's video, click the video on the left to see the most recent one. And if you want to see more of this, click the subscribe button and notification bell and check out his playlists. If you still haven't subscribed, do so in the center. With that said, I hope to see you again on my love's channel. Bye!